Part 61. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 601. The Hydra roared, and a huge white light appeared around it. In the white light, his figure quickly expanded. When the white light disappeared, the Hydra transformed into its true body, becoming a real Hydra. 9 snake heads, the main body is about 100 meters high. Although the main body is not as long as the 3-clawed golden dragon, it is thicker and stronger, shaking the sky and the earth for a while. Each snakehead is different: the flame snakehead, the ice snakehead, the lightning snakehead, the dark snakehead, the blue wind magic snakehead, the cocky earth magic snakehead, the purple venomous snakehead, the black steel snakehead, and the golden armor piercing snakehead. Each snakehead is 70 meters long, separated and staggered. The connecting part is the neck of the Hydra, and below is the spine and limbs of the dinosaur, and there is only a short tail behind the buttocks. This is the main body of the Hydra. At this point, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. 9 snakeheads, each of which is a different individual, can speak and has its own position. At this moment, they quarreled with each other, and some of the hot-tempered ones would hit each other. I am a flame snakehead, immune to physical attacks, and have the strongest burst, the flame snakehead roared. Shit. I am an ice snakehead, also immune to physical attacks. Your burst is shit, I can freeze the enemy. I am your boss, the ice snakehead said angrily. Damn it, you are all garbage. Now we have mastered the law of light elements and have extremely high light intensity. And you 4 garbage, you can't use light attribute attacks, the damage is the lowest, garbage among garbage. You are still the boss, just don't hold us back, the pitch black steel snakehead roared, broke through the air, and directly knocked the flame snakehead and the ice snakehead away. During the collision, lightning flashed, causing the 2 snakeheads to cry out in pain. I am an electric snakehead, and I attack with light attributes. We master the law of light elements, and I can benefit from the increase in light intensity, the electric snakehead roared, feeling annoyed at being underestimated. So what? We are all light attributed now, and we can benefit from the increase in light intensity. In addition, we have our own characteristics. Do you have them? The purple venomous snakehead sneered disdainfully. Why not? I can also paralyze. Get out, we can all paralyze, the remaining snakeheads roared at the same time. During the quarrel, the flame snakehead, ice snakehead, electric snakehead, and dark snakehead were beaten up by the other snakeheads, and they screamed and shed sad tears. The Hydra is not a god-level monster. Before it becomes a pet, does not transform, does not master the law of light elements, and has no faith. These 4 snakeheads are really awesome. Even if they are not the boss, they are ranked in the upper middle position among the 9 snakeheads. And now, they are directly at the bottom. It is said that a hero does not mention his past achievements, but now that his position is lost, it is really aggrieved. The golden armor-breaking snakehead in the center has not spoken, which shows that the snakeheads have been arguing and finally got angry. It is the boss. Since the birth of the Hydra, it has stood in the center, a natural boss. Stop talking nonsense. The golden armor-breaking snakehead roared, and the golden sound waves rolled. Suddenly, the other 8 snakeheads were frightened and trembled. No one dared to deny the status of the golden armor-breaking snakehead. It is the real boss. If you guys quarrel again, the enemy will escape. Chase me. The golden armor-breaking snakehead is the boss and the center of the entire Hydra. It can control the body below the neck. So, the Hydra ran rapidly above the sky. At the same time, the 9 snakeheads fired energy cannons of various colors at Yechen and Xiaojin. This is a snake cannon, which fires 9 cannons at once. Among them, the flame snakehead, ice snakehead, and dark snakehead have the lowest damage. They can't attack with light attributes, and even the real damage is only a few 100 billion. And the 6 snake heads, including the electric snake head, can each fire a snake cannon that can deal more than 70 trillion damage. Because of this, those 3 guys have the lowest status. The second is the electric snake head. Although it has high damage, it has no other characteristics. At this moment, the Hydra has recovered its original body, its body is huge, and the range of the snake cannon has increased accordingly. Ye Chen and Xiao Jin fled quickly. When they heard the noise behind them, they turned their heads slightly and found that the 9 snake cannons were overwhelming, too huge, and there was no way to dodge them all. Even Xiao Hei's instant transfer could not dodge. How much range does Xiao Hei's instant transfer have? Only 40 yards. The 9 snake cannons combined have a range of more than 1,000 yards. In an instant, Ye Chen and Xiao Jin were drowned and swallowed by the snake cannon, and finally fell without leaving any residue. Humph, it's a good thing that our snake cannons hit. If it were you guys, you wouldn't be able to kill that human and the 3-clawed golden dragon at all. The snake head sneered at the flame snake head, ice snake head, and dark snake head. How is it possible? It's okay if we can't kill the 3-clawed golden dragon in seconds, but at least we can kill that humble human. The 3 snake heads were dissatisfied. Tisk tisk, you're only capable of this. The golden armor breaking snake head snorted coldly. Boss. The 3 snake heads were about to argue, but the boss said so, and they immediately stopped. After killing Ye Chen and the 3-clawed golden dragon in seconds, the 9-headed snake still looked serious and angry. Because Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, the Abyss Demon and others were still slaughtering snake demons crazily, the believers kept dying and decreasing, which made his power of faith gradually weaken. The next moment, white light flashed around the Hydra, and it was split into 2. This is the clone of God. The clone of God of Hydra is only level 1, and can only split into 1 clone of God. Hey, clone, let's split into 2 groups and kill all the garbage that invaded our country, the Hydra roared at the clone. Yes. The Hydra and the clone ran in opposite directions and stepped out of the cloud. Below, in the ruins, Ye Chen pushed away a huge rock and walked out slowly. Because of the passive resurrection, Zhaxia.c he has 2 lives and is not easy to be killed easily. But Xiao Jin is really dead and fell into a deep sleep. After the revision, the pet will enter a cooling state after death in battle. Level 1 cools down for 1 minute, and level 100 cools down for 100 minutes. This is not a big problem. The main problem is that the divine beast died in battle, and ordinary resurrection grass cannot revive it. The divine resurrection grass is necessary. Ye Chen does not have the divine resurrection grass now, which means that before he gets the divine resurrection grass, Xiao Jin will fall into a deep sleep forever and cannot be resurrected. A big fighting force is missing. No way, I can only rely on myself now. Ye Chen sighed secretly and clenched his fists quietly. Now he has a way to kill the Hydra. In fact, it is very simple, just kill the 70,000 snake demon followers of the Hydra first. 010. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 602. After all, Dream World is the stage for players. Compared with NPCs, players have more advantages. On the NPC side, the believers of gods are generally NPCs. Although it is not ruled out that some gods have reached out to the players, they are a minority after all. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. NPCs cannot be resurrected after death. For every believer lost, the power of faith in the gods will be weakened. If all believers are killed, the power of faith will be gone. On the player side, the believers of gods are basically all players. Players are immortal. If they die, they will only lose level and can be resurrected at any time. Unless the account is deleted, even if the game is abandoned, the name of the believer will always be on it. In other words, once a player becomes a god, it is almost impossible for the power of faith to decrease. It will only attract more believers as the popularity spreads, and gain stronger and stronger power of faith. This is the gap. So far, Dream World has been running for more than half a year, and no one on the player side has reached the God level. It is indeed very difficult to face the God who masters the law and has the power of faith, but it is not completely impossible to fight. As long as all his believers are annihilated, they can be killed. Guys, the Hydra has begun to hunt you one by one. Don't force it. If you can't do it, just run away. Leave it to me alone. Yechen sent a message in the team channel. He is very confident because he is an assassin. In addition, he has a passive resurrection, which is a very powerful skill, and it has only a 1-minute cooldown. In other words, if the Hydra cannot kill him twice in a minute, it cannot really kill him. Yeah. Most of the people in the team responded, but there are still a few who did not respond. They still want to try again. Because these people don't care about the level, such as Sun Yang. Yechen didn't say anything more, and directly installed a detection device under a huge rock in the ruins. Stealth. The next moment, Yechen sank into the shadows, found a direction, and rushed away. 70,000 snake demons are really not many. If they stayed together, Yechen would have killed them in a few seconds. But they did not stay together, and they were quite scattered. Yechen could only clear them in waves. As time passed, as many as 30,000 snake demons died under Yechen's Dragon Kiss dagger. Once, the Hydra was attracted, and another snake cannon killed Yechen in seconds, muttering disdainfully, "Without the three-clawed golden dragon, what can you, a humble human, do?" After saying that, the Hydra turned away. He did not find that Yechen, who was lying dead, was resurrected again, and it was a passive resurrection, and he did not lose level. A few hours later, the entire snake village was smashed to pieces by Yechen, and as many as 50,000 snake demons were killed. This was the number of kills by Yechen alone, not including the number of kills by Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others. This move naturally angered the Hydra and made it run wild. The number of believers continued to decrease, and his power of faith was weakened accordingly. At the end of the killing, Yechen became more cautious, sneaking to use Shadowthorn, killing people invisibly. Shadowthorn can be used in stealth mode. After killing the target with normal attack, it will not enter the attack mode. Yechen and Xiaohei are now using normal attacks at the same time. The damage is close to 1 billion, unless it is a super holy snake demon. Other snake demons can be killed instantly. All those below the super saint are ants. At this moment, Yechen has the confidence to say this. During Yechen's slaughter, a group of snake demons looked at their compatriots falling down inexplicably, and they were also scared and ran forward aimlessly. Yechen smiled teasingly, and when he was killing happily, the system prompts rang intermittently in his ears. System, your teammate stole the chicken but lost the rice died. System, your teammate stole the chicken but lost the rice died. System, your teammate stole the chicken but lost the rice died. Khan, what the hell is this guy doing? Yechen smiled bitterly. In less than a minute, Sun Yang died more than 10 times in a row. Of course, although the Hydra is a divine beast, it has no divine weapon in its hands and cannot destroy Sun Yang's holy nature. So when Sun Yang's level drops to level 80, even if he dies again, he will not drop in level. However, it is inevitable that the holy nature will be cracked. Although Yechen had a puzzled and embarrassed attitude towards Sun Yang's move, he was clear in his mind. As a thief god, what else can that guy do? He must be stealing things from the Hydra. Sun Yang is very bold, and he is also the kind of troublesome existence who doesn't care about the level. As long as there is a chance to steal a divine weapon, he is willing to drop back to level 0. The divine weapon is bound once it is obtained. If the thief god steals it and uses it himself, it's okay. If he can't use the stolen divine weapon, it will be a waste of his hands. Yechen sighed secretly. You know, the Hydra must be the first kill. Killing it has a high probability of exploding the divine weapon. If Sun Yang were to steal it, and it was something that Sun Yang could not equip, it would be bad. So, Yechen locked Sun Yang's coordinates. Confirming Sun Yang's coordinates was equivalent to confirming the coordinates of the current Hydra. After confirming that the Hydra was not nearby, Yechen let go of his hands and feet, and directly killed all the surrounding snake monsters with a wave of destruction storm, and then rushed towards Sun Yang. Soon, Yechen came to a palace. This snake village, the Hydra called itself a kingdom. This so-called palace was obviously the so-called palace. The palace was in ruins, with flames burning on the surface, black smoke and billowing dust. The corners of Yechen's mouth twitched slightly. Obviously, facing Sun Yang who stole his things, the Hydra had no mercy at all, and even ruthlessly destroyed his own palace. Yechen activated the shadow assassination technique and rushed over along the gap of the ruins. Suddenly, a huge white energy cannon shot over. Yechen was in the shadow of the undercurrent and teleported to dodge. Fortunately, the Hydra is in human form, otherwise the range of the snake cannon, with my current shadow assassination technique, I can't dodge it at all. Yechen sighed, and took a rough look at the attribute list, and found that most of the skills have been upgraded to LV30 or above. Of course, the shadow assassination technique is still only LV5. System, you used the Philosopher's Stone, all skills LV add 1. System, you used the Philosopher's Stone, and the level of all skills increased by 1. Yechen decisively used 2 Philosopher's Stones, which increased all skills by 2 levels. Of course, skills that have reached the maximum level, such as LV100 Power Attack and LV7 Fighting Spirit, cannot be upgraded. And skills without levels, such as Stealth and Shadow Thorn, naturally cannot be upgraded. And these 2 Philosopher's Stones were the prizes that Yechen won in the martial arts tournament camp competition and national competition. Taking advantage of the situation, Yechen directly clicked more than 10 skill points and used them on Shadow Assassination, which raised Shadow Assassination to LV20. The range of the undercurrent reached 66 yards. The Dark River has been initially formed. Yechen sank into the shadow cast by the Dark River, and every step splashed dark water, mysterious and chic. Haha, good. Finally stole a magic weapon. Sun Yang's voice suddenly sounded from behind Yechen, which immediately startled him. 010. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 603. Hearing Sun Yang's surprised voice, Yechen's mouth twitched slightly. Sun Yang must have died from that snake cannon just now. Apparently, he had installed a detection device nearby, and after death and resurrection, he was instantly teleported back. Yechen could see the location as soon as he turned his head. What artifact, can it be used? Yechen turned his head and asked. Since the artifact was born, Yechen was naturally very interested. Alas, it's a staff, what a pity. Sun Yang glanced at the artifact attributes, smiled bitterly, and sent the artifact attributes to the common frequency. 9 Snake Staff, Artifact / growable. Level 80. Magic Attack Power, 8500 9001. Intelligence add 8000. Spirit add 8000. Strength add 6000. Physical Strength add 6000. Agility add 4000. Mode 1, Fire Attribute Attack, Fire Strength add 4000 points, Fire Resistance add 12,000 points. When attacking, there is a 90% chance to put the enemy into a burn state, which lasts for up to 60 seconds. Mode 2, Ice Attribute Attack, Ice Strength add 4000 points, Ice Resistance add 12,000 points. When attacking, there is a 90% chance to put the enemy into a frozen state, which lasts for up to 3 seconds. Mode 3, Light Attribute Attack, Light Strength add 4,000 points, Light Resistance add 12,000 points. When attacking, there is a 90% chance to paralyze the enemy, which lasts up to 3 seconds. Mode 4, Dark Attribute Attack, Dark Strength add 4,000 points, Dark Resistance add 12,000 points. When attacking, there is a 90% chance to blind the enemy, which lasts up to 10 seconds. Mode 5, when attacking, there is a 90% chance to poison the enemy, which lasts up to 60 seconds. Additional skill, Venom Spray. Mode 6, when attacking, there is a 90% chance to bleed the enemy, which lasts up to 60 seconds. Additional skill, Big Storm. Mode 7, HP add 100,000 points, Defense add 500%, additional skill, Earth Guardian. Mode 8, Stiffness add 10,000 points, additional skill, Armor Hardening. Mode 9, when attacking, there is a 90% chance to put the enemy into armor breaking state, which lasts up to 3 seconds. Note, the user can switch modes at will, and switch modes every time. Note, bound items cannot be traded, destroyed, or stolen. Tisk tisk, it's a really powerful artifact staff. What a pity. After viewing the properties of the 9 snake staff, Ye Chen was also very regretful. Why regret? Because the artifact is bound once it is obtained, and it can no longer be traded. And how can Sun Yang, a thief, use the staff? In other words, this 9 snake staff was smashed in Sun Yang's hands. Of course, it is not necessarily the case. There is also something called repellent water that can unbind. When the gods came down to the world to suppress Sun Yang, they used repellent water to let Sun Yang unbind the judge's pen and take it back to report. This repellent water is also a god-level item. As for the source, it is still unknown. It's a pity, but there is still a way to save it, that is, repellent water. When we get repellent water, this awesome artifact will be useful. Ye Chen smiled. Sun Yang nodded, put the 9-headed snake staff into the inventory, and after looking at Ye Chen, they rushed into the palace side by side. I have observed that the Hydra guy still has more than 10,000 followers, and they are all protected by him behind. Sun Yang analyzed the current situation to Ye Chen, and gave Ye Chen an expression of "I leave it to you." With only more than 10,000 followers, and gathered together, his hellfire can completely cover them all. You know, the range of his hellfire is very large. As long as all the enemies are piled together, it can even cover millions of people. However, the damage is not enough. Hellfire is not a high damage skill, and it cannot be upgraded. Sun Yang is currently level 80, with a very high foundation, but using Hellfire, at most hundreds of thousands or millions of damage. Killing players in seconds is naturally easy, but it is almost impossible to kill world monsters in seconds. Because even the lowest level world elites have more than 1 million HP. Well, leave it to me. Ye Chen nodded, accelerated at the same time as Sun Yang, and soon flew to the interior of the palace hall. The entire hall was actually covered by the flame wall. Ye Chen was in the shadow assassination technique, but once he broke in, he still showed his figure. Sun Yang seemed to know everything and did not hide at all. After entering the range of the flame wall, he immediately separated from Ye Chen and tried to attract the attention of the Hydra to buy time for Ye Chen. At this time, the Hydra had recovered its original body, but it was much smaller, only the size of an ordinary person, and looked like a mini Hydra. But his 9 snake heads of different colors and ferociousness were constantly releasing powerful pressure, which made people dare not underestimate him. Snake Cannon. 9 snake cannons were fired at Ye Chen and Sun Yang at once. Sun Yang was unable to dodge and was hit by a snake cannon, turning into smoke and ash. But he was only level 80, and he would not drop a level if he died, but there was another crack in his holy body. As for Ye Chen, he was still in the dark river gushing out of the shadow assassination technique. Level 20 shadow assassination technique, covering a radius of 66 yards. Directly teleported, avoiding the Hydra snake cannon. After dodging the attack, Ye Chen not only did not evade, but instead stepped in the dark river, splashing a series of dark water, looking elegant and chic. Seeing Ye Chen rushing towards him arrogantly, the Hydra became more angry and continued to fire the snake cannon, shooting at Ye Chen crazily. However, no matter how fast the snake cannon is, it is definitely not faster than teleportation. Ye Chen teleported and dodged many times, and gradually approached the Hydra. At this time, Xiao He ran out of his body and rushed towards the more than 10,000 snake demons behind the Hydra. He fired an invisible sea of fire, causing the snake demons to scream, but they didn't understand why they were burned. At the same time, Xiao He accumulated combo points and directly released the destructive storm, shooting countless flaming darts, sweeping in all directions. Zaoshan.c. Each flaming dart, with an attack power of more than 2 billion, killed the snake demons instantly. In less than 3 seconds, more than 10,000 snake demons died, the believers died, and the Hydra's faith power dropped again and again. In the end, there was very little left. Maybe there are still a few snake demons in the whole snake village who have escaped, but the number is definitely very small. Ye Chen concentrated and scanned, and once again saw the properties of the Hydra, and found that the number of the latter's believers was very few, less than 100. In other words, the Hydra's power of faith only increased by a few dozen points of light intensity. This increase is insignificant to the Hydra. Ah! My believers, my people, the Hydra roared out of control. He couldn't see Xiao He and had no idea why the believers died, but he had almost lost all his power of faith, so he was naturally furious. And he imposed all these furious emotions on Ye Chen, because now he only saw Ye Chen as an enemy. 010. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 604. Human beings as lowly as ants, do you think you can fight me by killing all my believers and reducing my power? Too naive, I will let you know what despair is. The golden armor-breaking snake head roared, and its body swelled instantly. The 9 snake heads raised high pierced through the high wall. Accompanied by thick smoke, the Hydra returned to its original size. The Hydra, which was 100 meters tall, huge and strong, stood majestically. Ye Chen and the Hydra were in opposition, one was a behemoth, and the other was as small as an ant. However, Ye Chen's body was surging with a huge dark river, but in terms of momentum, he was on par with the Hydra. Now the Hydra has become an ordinary lower-level beast. Even if there is no 3-clawed golden dragon around him, Ye Chen has the confidence to deal with it. Bang! Suddenly, Xiao He turned over in mid-air and rushed towards the golden armor-breaking snake head. With a strong attack, he slammed violently on the ladder. Along with the high-temperature air waves, the golden armor on the ladder's body cracked inch by inch, and the ladder also screamed in pain. A moment later, the golden armor on the golden armor-breaking snake head was broken by 1/3, and golden blood flowed inside. It is the core of the mythical beast Hydra. Its armor breaking, like a dragon's kiss, is the limit of armor breaking, and now it has also dropped by 1/3. In pain, the Hydra began to attack, and the 9 snake heads fired snake cannons at the same time. Its range is so large that even the dark river surging out of the LV-20 shadow assassination technique cannot be completely avoided. Teleport. It is still necessary to dodge. The 9 snake cannons are connected together, with a range of more than 200 yards. Ye Chen's dark river is only 66 yards, and it is impossible to completely dodge the range of the snake cannon. But Ye Chen can choose the target he can bear. With a teleport, Ye Chen came into the range of the black snake cannon shot by the dark snake head, and was instantly swallowed by the black laser, and the damage emerged. minus 106,398. The damage came out, and the Hydra was shocked. Yechen smiled slightly. Without the power of faith, the Hydra's damage dropped by more than 700 times. At the moment, Yechen's dark resistance exceeded the fire resistance, which was more than 30,000 points, and offset the damage of the dark snake head by more than 300 times again. In addition to Yechen's flame armor, hardened weapons, dragon pattern, tyrant dragon pattern, fighting spirit, and other defensive skills, the Hydra's damage dropped by unknown times again. In the end, it only dealt a mere 100,000 damage. And Yechen's current HP is more than 670,000, and he is not panicked at all. My 4 resistances are all very high. Dark resistance is 32,000, fire resistance is 28,000, and light resistance and ice resistance are also more than 10,000. Yechen pondered and calculated secretly that no matter which head of the Hydra attacked him, the maximum damage was more than 300,000. If he took a hit, it would not be a waste at all, but the Hydra could attack a point at the same time. If he took 2 or even more shots of the stacked cannon, it would be quite dangerous. Change clothes. Breaking Wuju. Yechen replaced the dragon kiss with a white dagger, and then broke it directly, entering the long-lost state of dominance. Since he got the flame armor, hardened weapons, dragon pattern, domineering dragon pattern, full-level fighting spirit and other defensive skills, his defense is quite terrible, and he rarely uses Breaking Wuju. But this does not mean that Breaking Wuju is not strong. On the contrary, Breaking Wuju is terrible. There is only 5 seconds, but Yechen now has a magical feeling that he can resist any attack of the Hydra in this time. Of course, the golden armor breaking snakehead is an exception. The armor breaking is too terrifying, so Yechen only needs to dodge the bombardment of the golden snakehead in a targeted manner, and he can look down on the Hydra. Magic Conduction Potion. Yechen knocked off a bottle of Magic Conduction Potion, which changed the nature of the attack, from physical attack to magic attack. After all, this Hydra mastered the law of light elements. As long as he wanted, he could transform into light elements at any time, so that he would be physically immune. This is a matter of time. Yechen will defeat it first. Flying Thunder God. Immediately, Yechen threw a dart with his bare hands, crossed hundreds of yards with his domineering body, and teleported to the front of the golden armor-piercing snake head. The latter was immediately furious and directly shot a thick golden laser. Dark River, teleport. A golden snake cannon has a range of less than 30 yards, and Yechen can completely dodge it. The next moment, the other 8 snakeheads showed a sinister smile of success and fired at Yechen at the same time. The 8 snake cannons staggered each other, but they focused on Yechen. This involved a little prediction. As soon as Yechen flashed out, the 8 snakeheads focused their fire at the same time. Because the distance was too close, Yechen was also unable to react. Suddenly, he was drowned by 8 snake cannons at the same time. Boom. Minus 19,002. The terrifying explosion sounded, shaking the world, and the damage followed, which was unbelievable. Previously, Yechen took a snake cannon and lost 100,000 blood, which was unbelievable to them. Now that they were being fired at by 8 cannons, the damage was getting lower and lower, and it was less than 20,000 damage. How could they not be surprised? In addition, because of the existence of the tyrant body, Yechen was bombarded with 8 snake cannons, but his body was motionless. Tyrant body, like armor penetration, also has different levels. The stronger the tyrant body, the higher the defense, but even the worst tyrant body is equivalent to infinite stiffness. In other words, any tyrant body cannot be defeated. Sea of Fire. Powerful attack. Yechen spread a sea of fire, causing most of the body of the Hydra to burn. Then Yechen used the Dark River to teleport again, came in front of the golden snake head, and hit it with a powerful attack. With a bang, the golden snakehead's armor was shattered again. At this time, only the last third of the golden snakehead was covered with golden armor, and the rest of the body was bleeding and had lost its defense. Ah! The golden snakehead screamed in pain, and the whole snakehead swung wildly in the sky, trying to relieve the pain. Yachen didn't care about that. He sneered, aimed at the neck of the golden snakehead, flew over, and then began to attack wildly. Directly swung the final blow. For Yachen, the Hydra was a new target. After the strong attack, the Hydra had already been broken. In these 3 seconds, all of Yachen's attacks were real damage. Piercing the heart. -104083030439. A sure kill. -650023981811. 2 consecutive knives. Zaoshian.c. The Hydra lost 160 billion HP. This pain made all the heads of the Hydra scream. The snake body was soft, and even if Yachen hid behind the golden snakehead, the 9 snakeheads could still turn around and attack him. But no matter how they fought back, they almost didn't lose HP when attacking Yachen. Of course, Yachen also deliberately avoided the snake cannon of the golden snakehead. In just 2 or 3 seconds, the Hydra lost more than half of its HP, and finally panicked. Its body shrank rapidly and turned into a mini Hydra the size of an ordinary person. Now that he knew how terrifying Yachen was, he naturally didn't dare to show his true form to others, otherwise, he would only become a living target. 010. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 605. Terrible guy, in the Holy Land, actually has the power to kill gods. The golden snakehead's eyes flickered for a moment, and it turned around and ran away. Humph, I told you, your speed is not very good. Yachen sneered and quickly caught up. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow dot. In front of him, the 9-headed snake with its back to him, 9 pairs of ferocious snake eyes, all flashed a smile of conspiracy success. The next moment, the space behind Yachen fluctuated, and a 9-headed snake appeared out of thin air. This is the god's clone of the Hydra. Unknowingly, when Yachen was completely unprepared, the golden snake head of the god's clone suddenly fired and hit Yachen's back. One shot completed the armor breaking, and it was the extreme armor breaking. You must know that each of the god's clones is a separate individual. The injury of the original body, the generation of negative states, etc., have nothing to do with the god's clone. Fooled, Yachen turned his head in astonishment. When he found the clone of the god behind the Hydra, his face was depressed and gloomy. After taking a blow, not only was his armor broken to the limit, but he was also paralyzed. At this moment, he couldn't escape even if he wanted to. Die, idiot. The Hydra and the clone of the god laughed wildly and fired at Yachen at the same time. -160492900482881. Yachen was swallowed by the snake cannon, and unimaginable horrible damage emerged. The 9 snakeheads laughed wildly. Suddenly, yellow sand splashed, and the Hydra's eyes suddenly shone, and it felt bad. Is it worth you to be so happy to kill one of my clones? Yachen sneered, which immediately made the Hydra ashamed and angry. The next moment, Yachen's figure appeared in front of the Hydra. Facing 2 Hydras at the same time, he was not afraid. What he was afraid of was being attacked from both sides. The battle was about to start. Yachen swung his sword, and the flash of swords and swords flashed. The 2 Hydras fired wildly, shooting energy cannons at Yachen. Soon, Yachen's hegemony disappeared. Under the crazy offensive, both sides were miserable. Of course, Yachen would be better. His blood blade had a blood-sucking effect. With his high damage, he could restore the remaining health of the Hydra after each attack. The armor-breaking effect of Dragon Kiss only lasted for 3 seconds, and it took 1 minute to refresh a new target. In those 3 seconds, after Ye Chen killed half of the Hydra's health, he gradually became weak, and the damage was reduced by more than 10 times. But a little bit makes a lot. The Hydra ate round after round of finishing moves, and its HP kept dropping. In addition, there was the Sea of Fire, the burns added by the burning heart ring, bleeding, and blood flowing. With the superposition of various negative states, the Hydra became weaker and weaker, and was finally cut down by Ye Chen. World broadcast: congratulations to the Chinese player Ye Chen for killing the Hydra, Divine Beast, for the first time. The additional rewards are as follows: experience value add 5,003,000 gold coins. Killing the Divine Beast for the first time triggered a world broadcast. Ye Chen didn't care about these, but glanced at the loot dropped by the Hydra. Among the loot on the ocean that fell to the ground, there was only a colorful glow. In other words, the Hydra's loot only had one artifact, or a god-level item. Of course, the 9 snake staff stolen by Sun Yang was another matter. Ye Chen walked along the colorful glow and found that it was a godhead. Origin of Light Godhead, Divine Product/Consumable available to players at level 99 or above. 1. Used by players at level 99, enter the God's trial field, and after clearing the level, refine the Godhead. Level add 1, Strength, Physical Strength, Intelligence, Spirit, and Agility add 10,000 points. Light, Dark, Fire, Ice Strengthening add 1,000 points, Resistance add 5,000 points, with a chance to master the Light Element Law. 2. Level 100 players use it, with a chance to master the Light Element Law. Note: after the player has the Godhead, he will not drop in level after death. Note: when the player dies 1,000 times, the Godhead is destroyed. Ye Chen habitually glanced at the attributes of the Godhead and was shocked. He quickly took out the Dark Origin Godhead for comparison, and finally smiled bitterly. Before the revision, the Origin Godhead, swallowed to master the law. Now it has become a probability. This change is not small. Maybe it's also BG before there are players who become gods. The official thought no one would find it after the revision. Ye Chen shook his head and smiled. He found it, but he didn't take advantage of it. Soon, Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, Abyss Demon and others came one after another. Everyone divided the spoils of war that the Hydra exploded. Next, Ye Chen found a brick treasure chest in the Hydra Palace. The treasure chest was locked. Ye Chen tried to open it, but found that his lock-picking skill was completely abandoned, and he couldn't help but feel embarrassed. Fortunately, among the group, there were Sun Yang, Ming Tian, Shueisha and others who were thieves or assassins. Among them, Ming Tian's lock-picking was the highest, and he opened the brick treasure chest in a few seconds. Ye Chen couldn't wait to look over. What he wanted was naturally the Transfiguration fruit, which was also the purpose of his trip. Of course, if there was the God's resurrection grass, it would be even better. After all, Xiao Jin had died in the battle. Unless there was the God's resurrection grass, he would sleep forever. At a glance, except for the 3 holy artifacts and countless gold coins, there was no Transfiguration fruit. Zosian. Ye Chen was immediately very disappointed. He reached out and poked in the pile of gold coins, and actually touched a seed. Transfiguration fruit tree seed, god-level item can grow into a Transfiguration fruit tree. Very good. Ye Chen was overjoyed. He didn't have the Transfiguration fruit, but he got the Transfiguration fruit tree seed. Isn't it better? Next, Ye Chen ordered people to burn down the snake village. There were still hundreds of snake monsters in the snake village, and there were countless poisonous snakes. Ye Chen ordered people to burn them with fire. After a long time, the snake village was completely reduced to ruins. Next, Ye Chen and others began to build a base. After everything was done, Ye Chen teleported back to the Chinese war zone and found the blood tree. When he was away, Ye Chen did not forget the blood tree. After killing the 5-clawed black dragon and the 9-headed snake, Yechen collected some of the blood of the beasts and irrigated the blood tree with all of it. The latter was trembling with excitement. Yechen smiled slightly, planted the Transfiguration fruit tree seed beside him, and let the blood tree grow well. Demon of the Abyss, are you willing to devour the Godhead? Yechen went to the 9-snake island again, took out a dark origin Godhead, and said to the Devil of the Abyss. The Godhead shows that it can be used by players of level 99 or above. But in fact, NPCs of level 99 and even monsters can also use it. Otherwise, the blue-eyed fox would not have said that at the beginning. At the beginning, Yechen felt that the Godhead was precious and was reluctant to give it to the Devil of the Abyss, but now that he has seized 12 Godheads from the blue-eyed fox at one time, he has a surplus, so he has this consideration. Now that the Devil of the Abyss has just become a believer of the blue-eyed fox, there is still great potential in the future, but even if he becomes a high-level preacher, at most he will be at the same level as the blue-eyed fox, and Yechen gradually looks down on him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 606. You know, the blue-eyed demon fox itself has the bloodline of its ancestor, the blue-eyed fox, and after cultivating to become a god, it can master the 5 laws. As for the abyss demon who cultivates to become a god, everything is unknown, and he may not be able to master the laws. The abyss demon also knew this truth. When Yechen asked, he quickly replied, "Of course I am willing." Yechen nodded and used the commander system to contact the blue-eyed demon fox, instructing him to cancel his status as a follower of the abyss demon. Believers themselves are not disqualified from belief, but their preachers, or the gods they believe in, can erase their qualifications as believers. And preachers, even low-level preachers, have no way to disqualify their faith, unless the gods take the initiative to erase their beliefs, but gods generally will not do such a thing. With a flash of white light, the abyss demon once again returned to the stage of free belief. Yechen handed him the source of darkness, and the latter devoured it directly and automatically teleported to the trial ground of God. Yechen didn't have much information about God's trial ground. He just heard that if a player wants to become a god, he must defeat the clone of the god he believes in. It can be inferred from this that the god's trial ground that players enter is actually different. For example, Yechen believes in Ounce when he enters the trial field of gods, he will at least encounter Oz's god clone. Many fire mages in the throne, including Huo Wu, also believe in Ounce. It should be the same scene when they enter God's trial field. But this is not necessarily the case for the rest of the people. Everyone has their own beliefs, but the abyss demon has no beliefs. For such a being, it should be very difficult to enter God's trial ground. But the specific situation is unknown. Only when the abyss demon comes out can we know the specific situation inside. As for the failure of the abyss demon's challenge, that's it, it's a waste of a dark origin godhead. Shaking his head, Yechen stopped thinking about those things. The most important things at the moment were God's resurrection grass and repellent water. Let me go offline and find the Headhunting Alliance. After all, they are an international intelligence organization. They may have information on the God's resurrection grass and repellent water. The monkey said something, and after everyone nodded, he went offline. About 10 minutes later, Monkey came online again. Seeing the expectant expressions on everyone's faces, he smiled bitterly and said, "I asked, but they don't know. Haha, you think too highly of the Headhunter Alliance. Although it is an international organization, it is second-rate." Jian Wuhan sneered. "Forget it, never mind, whether it's God's resurrection grass or repulsive water, it must be within the sea." Yechen looked at the vast and majestic ocean of the world and couldn't help but sigh. "Let's go, Let's continue to open up the world's oceans. Yechen waved his hand, and everyone took off, heading deeper into the world ocean. I don't know when, a long black shadow like a dragon was reflected on the sea behind them. That black shadow was so huge, 3,000 meters long. It was the five-clawed black dragon that Yechen killed not long ago. And it's the same one. That five-clawed black dragon is the pet of the infinite god, so it can naturally be resurrected quickly. Could it be that the higher gods don't have a few gods' resurrection grasses in their hands? This is obviously impossible. Of course, generally mythical beasts can be resurrected after death, but the refresh time is relatively long, at least a month. The five-clawed black dragon followed closely behind them, looking at a certain figure in the air in front of them, with overwhelming hatred in its eyes. After following for a period of time, the five-clawed black dragon gradually determined the route Yechen and others were taking, then turned back and galloped out in the opposite direction. If Yechen felt something, he suddenly turned his head. The sea behind him was calm and calm. He smiled bitterly and shook his head. He felt that he was too worried. Thousands of miles away, on a towering cliff, there was a bald man in linen clothes, sitting cross-legged with his hands clasped together. He closed his eyes tightly, and the turbulent waves below were beating against the cliff, making irritating sound waves, but they could not affect him in the slightest. He is like an old monk who has entered samadhi, unconcerned with worldly affairs and untainted by dust. While he was meditating, various energy ripples surged around his body, instantly burning his linen clothes and turning him into a burning man. His whole body was frozen for a moment. For a moment, he was plunged into endless darkness. Give him divine light for a moment. He is the master of the five-clawed black dragon, the infinite god. Infinite, superior god. Level 100. HP, 500m/500m. Laws, light element, dark element, fire element, ice element. Number of believers, 5004059. Notes, infinite clones of God. The upper gods are also called great gods. Even in the divine domain, their number is very rare. Wuliang is one of them, and it is the lower realm of his clone at this moment. This boundless person is extremely talented and can master the four laws of light element, dark element, fire element, and ice element at the same time. A very strange talent, because of the laws of elements, it cannot be fused. Although he masters four elemental laws at the same time, .zasa.c he can only use the power of a certain law when using it. This is not much different from the great god who only masters the laws of a certain element. Because of this, his talent is often made fun of by other great gods. Of course, he also has advantages. Maybe the damage cannot be combined and superimposed, but his four resistances to light, darkness, fire, and ice are extremely terrifying. If they really fight, they are many times stronger than the great gods who only master a certain elemental law. Therefore, he never thought that his talent was strange, but was very proud of it. He is also a tenable existence in the gods' domain. Some time ago, the death of his beast, the five-clawed black dragon, made him furious. He felt that his divine power was challenged, and immediately sent down his clone to wipe out the enemy and seek justice for his pet. Although the clones of God are all independent individuals, they are also strong and weak. The strongest is 50% of the combat power of the original body, and the weakest is only 10% of the combat power of the original body. And this clone is the strongest clone of God. A moment later, a dragon roar suddenly came from the sea below the cliff. This is the dragon roar of the five-clawed black dragon. It is not arrogant or impatient, but just releases majesty. Soon, 3 dragon roars responded. In a flash, 4 10-meter-long black dragons came to the bottom of the cliff. The middle one was a little thicker than the other 3, and its black dragon scales were fuller and thicker, so its defense was naturally stronger. More importantly, Each claw of this black dragon had 5 fingers, which was a 5-clawed black dragon. It was the pet of the Wuliang great god. The other 3 had only 3 fingers on each claw, which was a 3-clawed black dragon. They were not the pets of the Wuliang great god, but were summoned by the 5-clawed black dragon. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 607. Hearing the dragon roar, the bald man in hemp clothes on the cliff opened his eyes, and he felt a sense of vicissitudes. Although he maintained a young appearance, he didn't know how many years he had lived. He was used to seeing the changes in the world, and he was naturally vicissitudes. Black Dragon, you are here. Wuliang looked down at the 5-clawed black dragon below and said calmly. Suddenly he saw 3 other 3-clawed black dragons next to the 5-clawed black dragon, and he was a little unhappy, and his brows were slightly frowned. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. He is a high-level god. Even if only a clone descended, it was self-righteously powerful and invincible. But the 5-clawed black dragon summoned a younger generation of the clan. What does this mean? Don't you believe in the ability of this great god? Black Dragon, what's your intention in summoning the younger generation of the clan? Wuliang looked at the 5-clawed black dragon, and a huge divine power emerged around him. Feeling the anger of his master, the 5-clawed black dragon trembled. He is a middle-level divine beast, and a member of the divine dragon clan, with extraordinary talents. In terms of physical strength alone, he is stronger than the clone in front of him. But if they really fight, they are no match at all, just because of the power of faith. He has transformed and mastered the laws of dark elements. He should be able to spread faith and recruit believers. But Wuliang does not allow him to do so. Wuliang is an upper god and can recruit a total of 100 million believers. He himself has not yet recruited enough believers, so how can he let the black dragon become bigger? Therefore, although the 5-clawed black dragon is a middle-level divine beast, it is actually just a plaything that Wuliang uses to fill his face. In his view, the 5-clawed black dragon is just his messenger, and he will never allow the latter to become bigger privately, otherwise he will bring down divine punishment. This is the way to tame beasts. Wuliang deeply comprehends the truth and tames the 5-clawed black dragon. When the master asked about it, the 5-clawed black dragon couldn't help but look embarrassed. After the time storm, the posture of the god of night was like a nightmare lingering in his heart. It was too strong. He found 3 3-clawed black dragons, obviously to improve his combat effectiveness. But he didn't dare to say such words. Wuliang was narrow-minded and hated to see others' ambitions grow and his prestige destroyed. When the words came to his lips, the 5-clawed black dragon could only change his words. Master, you go out in person. I find the younger generation of the clan just to boost the momentum and make the villain feel scared. Well, that's about right. You are sure of the direction of the kid. Let's set off now. Wuliang nodded with satisfaction, and then jumped up, just riding on the head of the 5-clawed black dragon, and then the 5-clawed black dragon dragged Wuliang and the 3 3-clawed black dragons to chase in the direction of Yechen and others. On the other side, Yechen and his companions were completely unaware of the nightmare, and were still exploring the world ocean. After killing the Hydra and getting the first kill, Yechen's experience skyrocketed, and he was now level 85. But he didn't dare to use the forging technique to upgrade his equipment. The world ocean was too dangerous, and he could die at any time. After the revision, the sanctuary would also be downgraded if he died. If he upgraded his equipment to level 85, he would not be able to wear it if he downgraded at that time. The forging technique of God can reverse the forging and downgrade the equipment. But Yechen is still a forging technique, so he naturally dare not do anything reckless. Killing countless sea beasts along the way and occupying a large number of islands, a huge white fog appeared in front of Yechen and his companions. The white fog in the sea ahead was very dense and huge, and the range covered by the white fog was many times larger than that of the Nine Snake Island and the Giant Island. Standing in front of the white fog, Ye Chen and his companions were as small as dust, and it was really not worth mentioning. Even if the three-clawed golden dragon was allowed to absorb the thick fog, it would probably take a long time, and the three-clawed golden dragon seemed to have died in battle and had not yet resurrected. Everyone took out the wind god bag at the same time to absorb the thick fog, and gave up decisively after a moment. It's impossible. If we were to absorb the thick fog, we might not be able to absorb it in 10 days or half a month. And this is still under the condition that the wind god bag can hold it. Let's take a detour. Lan Yan was the first to put away the wind god bag and shook his head. Don't take a detour, go into the thick fog and take a look. There may be some hidden maps, Sun Yang said excitedly, with an expression of eagerness to try. Hearing this, everyone's heart moved. This group of white fog was too big. Ye Chen and others stood in front and couldn't see the whole picture at all. Opening the world ocean map, they were surprised to find that there was no mark on the map, showing a blue ocean. Strangely, this ocean on the map was extremely empty, without half an island. The area occupied was not much less than a war zone, it was really too huge. Maybe there is a hidden map in the white fog. Maps are also made by people. The reason why hidden maps are called hidden maps is that no one knows about them, so they can't be drawn on the map. It doesn't mean they don't exist. This group of white fog is so huge that it covers an area almost equivalent to a war zone. It's all seawater, no islands, no land, which seems a bit unreal. Well, let's go in and take a look, maybe there will be an adventure. Ye Chen nodded, and his heart was inexplicably restless. He has always been interested in hidden maps. When he was at a low level and had not set out overseas, he was very keen to challenge some hidden maps in China. After setting out for the world ocean, the sea is vast and wide, and there is nothing to see at a glance, and there are almost no hidden maps. Now that he has finally found a place where the suspected hidden map is, he is naturally eager to wait. Zaoshan.c. There may be no vision in the thick fog. Everyone, follow my coordinates and don't get separated, Ye Chen instructed, and after everyone nodded, he led the team into the mysterious white fog. After entering, it was found that not only was there no vision, but this huge white fog was extremely dense, which actually limited people's speed. After everyone entered this huge white fog, the speed dropped more than 10 times. Surprised, Ye Chen led the team to continue moving forward. In everyone's imagination, this huge white fog could not be all white fog. It should be a cover, and inside that cover, there is still normal sky, seawater, and islands. Maybe the cover is thicker, so it is not easy for everyone to pass through. It is precisely because of such imagination and longing that everyone will dive in. But what is it, still needs to continue to explore. It is not necessarily true that there is no vision in the white fog. Ye Chen and the others walked in dense white fog, naturally without any vision. Occasionally, they came to a place where the white fog was slightly thinner, and they had a little vision. The speed that had been severely slowed down also increased a little bit. That kind of vision was a hazy white, with a vision range of half a yard. The two people who were close to each other could see each other's blurred figures. After 10 minutes of moving forward, the environment in front of everyone did not change at all. In Tank's words, "Damn, this white fog cover is too thick, we haven't worn it out yet." "What cover? It's just a large mass of dense white fog," Lan Yan snorted coldly. As a realist, he couldn't help but pour a basin of cold water. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 608. Tisk, as a man, you don't have any manly romance in the thick fog. Tank couldn't see Lan Yan's person, but he could distinguish his voice. He immediately curled his lips and complained, causing everyone to laugh. "It's okay. In the thick fog, our speed has dropped more than 10 times. We move forward for 10 minutes, which is equivalent to 1 minute at normal speed. Even the cover of the hidden map should be this thick, Sun Yang said. Everyone laughed, said no more, and continued to move forward. Gradually, Ye Chen felt itchy, as if there were many bugs crawling on his body. This phenomenon was not only felt by Ye Chen, but everyone felt the same way. Helplessly, everyone stopped in a relatively thin fog and used the pitiful half-yard vision to observe the situation on their bodies. At a glance, there were indeed bugs. In the hazy white vision, everyone couldn't help but find that they had more or less a few white bugs that were similar in color to the white fog, the size of a palm, and fleshy. Not only crawling, the white bugs will also suck blood when they find a comfortable place. Cloud bug, World Elite. Level 80. HP, 10000//1000000. Skill, blood sucking. Note, a magical species that can only be born in the thick fog that lasts for a long time. Bugs are bugs after all. Even if they are world elites, their HP is only 100,000. Kill, 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 Sun Yang's voice sounded, reminding everyone to start killing the cloud bugs on their bodies. With only 100,000 HP and almost no defense, everyone present can kill them instantly. After a cleanup, everyone felt lighter and was surprised to find that although these cloud bugs were weak, their experience points were quite rich. Compared with the average world elites, they all had similar experience points. However, even if the cloud bugs had good experience, everyone didn't want to be entangled by cloud bugs again. After all, except for perverts, no one would like the feeling of bugs crawling on their bodies. Not only itchy, but also disgusting. However, things are often not as smooth as imagined. As everyone continued to move forward, they were still entangled by cloud bugs and sucked blood. Gradually, many people began to get annoyed. Disgusting bugs, there is no end. I can only hold on for 10 minutes at most. If I still can't get through the cover you mentioned, I can't stand it anymore, Lan Yan couldn't help but say. Cold guy, you have a lot of words today. Tank's muffled laughter sounded, causing laughter again. But everyone had already agreed with Lan Yan's statement. Being entangled by bugs was really uncomfortable. And whether there was a hidden map, everyone was getting more and more uncertain. If there was, then this cloud cover was too big and too thick. Just as they were about to move forward, there was a sound of breaking wind in front of them, which startled everyone. The clouds were so dense that people's speed dropped by more than 10 times. Everyone present was a strong man in the holy domain. They couldn't hear the sound of breaking wind at their speed, and now the sound of breaking wind came from the front, which was really incredible. With a bang, a bird with pure white feathers broke through the clouds and came to Ye Chen's eyes. Skylark, World Elite. Level 85. HP, 150,000//150,000. Skills, Pecking, Big Storm. Perception, 100. Remarks, a magical species that can only be born in the thick fog that lasts for a long time. Its speed is not affected by the thick fog. Remarks, in order to prey on cloud insects, the skylark abandons its eyes and only uses perception. Over a long period of time, its perception ability has evolved and it is the natural enemy of cloud insects. In the thick fog, the field of vision is only half a meter. This skylark just pounced in front of Ye Chen. Including Ye Chen, only a few people standing next to Ye Chen could see it. After seeing its attributes, Ye Chen and others carefully observed the skylark and found that the skylark with a beautiful appearance had white eyes when it opened and had no spirit. Blind. But the perception is extremely good, with 100 points. You know, perception is an extremely rare attribute, which is not much less than armor breaking. Even some gods may not have any perception at all, which shows how rare it is. This skylark doesn't seem to be afraid of people. It flies directly over and preys on cloud insects on Yechen and others. Interesting little thing, catch it, whoever grabs it will get it, Yechen shouted and began to throw traps at the skylark. What happened in front? This damn fog. The people behind were very angry because they couldn't see because of the narrow vision. I don't know who actually lit a sea of fire, originally trying to illuminate some vision, who knew that the flames burned on the fog and caused an explosion. Bang bang bang. A series of explosions sounded, and everyone was blown into charcoal, but the vision remained unchanged. And Yechen and others were depressed to find that the skylark was actually blown to death. Sorry, I was wrong. The guy who set the sea of fire apologized quickly. Damn it, you killed a rare monster with 100 points of perception, Tank looked annoyed. Forget it, forget it. With such a big shield, there must be more than one skylark. We came here, even if we catch one skylark, it's not a loss. Yechen comforted him. Then, Lanyan didn't know what to say. Now it's not about shielding or not, but catching skylarks. Another 3 hours passed, and the group continued to move forward. They encountered many skylarks along the way, and many people caught a skylark. Among them, there was a World Lord level skylark. It was the same size as an ordinary skylark, but the pure white feathers were flowing with golden strands, which looked more handsome. This guy actually had a perception of up to 500 points, which was simply an alien. After Yechen expressed his heartbeat, no one competed with him, and finally Yechen took advantage of the situation to catch it. Hey, no one has noticed that the white fog here is getting thinner and thinner, and the vision has recovered a lot, almost 10 yards of vision. The speed of our advancement has also become much faster, Sun Yang said in surprise. Hearing this, everyone nodded. Maybe we are about to pass through the cover, let's speed up, Tank said excitedly. Tisk. Lanyan curled his lips, he still didn't believe it, but everyone had been moved by Tank, so he couldn't say anything. And the next scene made him open his mouth wide. Seeing everyone passing through the white fog, there was really a vast world in front of them. Is it really a cover? Lanyan's mouth twitched, and he looked around, the sky, the sea, the islands. It seemed to be a huge cover, hiding this world, and there was no white fog on the top, and the sun shone directly down, which was breathtaking. Hidden map. I don't know how many treasures are inside, Lanyan, you have nothing to say now. Tank laughed strangely and glanced at Lanyan, who was originally thin-skinned and was ashamed for a while. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 609. Yechen lowered his eyes and looked down at this vast hidden world. Most of it was ocean, and there was an archipelago standing in the middle of the ocean. The so-called archipelago is a group of islands in the ocean. Among the islands, the largest one in the middle is like a green circular fortress. It covers a large area and is the largest island Yechen has ever seen. There are many small islands surrounding it, giving it an artistic conception of stars holding the moon. Everyone is still far away from the islands, but they can smell the fragrance of fruits and melons, and they can't help but sniff and get intoxicated. Let's go, log into the largest island first. Yechen wiped his nose excitedly, waved his hand, and led the team to gallop away. Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. On the other side, the 5-clawed black dragon carried the infinite great god and 3 3-clawed black dragons to the huge white mist. They even divided their troops into 4 groups and made a half-circle towards the huge white mist. They were faster, and they should have discovered Yechen and others long ago, but now they had gained nothing, not even a ghost of Yechen and others could be seen. Obviously, they entered this white mist, Wu Yang said indifferently, sitting cross-legged on the head of the 5-clawed black dragon. Hearing this, the 5-clawed black dragon and the 3-3-clawed black dragons looked at each other and simultaneously reduced to their own size. The 5-clawed black dragon is 3,000 meters long. The 3-clawed black dragon is 1,000 meters long. Standing proudly in the clouds, he opened his big mouth and began to absorb the huge white mist. After a while, the 4 black dragons burped at the same time. They swallowed an unknown amount of white mist, but the huge white mist in front of them did not even change its shape. Too rich and dense. Stop. Stop doing these boring things and just rush in, Wu Yang shouted loudly. From his perspective, he had never seen such a magical white mist, and he thought that there was something in the white mist. Hearing this, the black dragons roared loudly and plunged into the white mist. This white mist is so dense that even if the Shenlong clan enters it, their speed will be limited. Only like a skylark, born and raised in the native land, wings, feathers, etc. have evolved long ago, so that they can fly freely in the thick fog. It is unbelievable that there is such a dense white mist in the world. It is conceivable that there must be something hidden in this huge white mist, Wu Yang thought to himself. Surrounded by this huge white mist, they searched separately but did not find Yuchen. At this moment, he fully believed that Yuchen had also entered the white mist. Humph, as long as I find that ant, I will crush him to pieces. Wu Yang's face became solemn, and he immediately closed his eyes and entered the meditative state again. System, you discovered Huiguo Mountain, recognition add 100,000 points. When Yuchen and others landed on the huge circular island where birds were singing and flowers were fragrant, system prompts rang in their ears at the same time, and they couldn't help but be startled. Huiguotian? Did I hear wrongly? You heard that right, because I heard it too. It's too big. Isn't Huiguo Mountain the territory of Monkey King, the Monkey King? Since there is Huiguo Mountain, will Sun Wukong also exist? 6666, that's awesome. What level is Brother Monkey? I guess he's at least a high-ranking god. Everyone was talking in low voices, and everyone's face was filled with incredible expressions. The so-called hidden map is actually Huiguo Mountain, which is really unbelievable. Suddenly, a majestic beast roar sounded within 1,000 yards, attracting everyone's attention. If there is any situation, let's go and take a look first. Ye Chen waved his hand and led the team towards the direction of the beast's roar. In just 2 or 3 minutes, an empty grassland appeared in front of everyone. On that piece of grass, there were many hairy monkeys, their hair standing on end, staring ahead with fearful expressions. Among them, there are more than 10 large monkeys with strong bodies and the same size as ordinary people, standing in the sky. The expressions on their faces as they stared ahead were less fearful and more angry. On the opposite side, there are countless huge beasts, elephants, tigers, and violent bears. You guys, how brave are you? You actually want to attack our Huiguo Mountain? The leader of the monkey side is a white ape, standing in the air among a group of monkeys. His presence is extremely prominent. At that moment, he roared violently at the group of huge beasts in front of him, showing a strong and unyielding heroic feeling. The beasts on the opposite side roared at the same time, and one of the purple-gold violent bears stepped out and roared, "You are a group of little monkeys, occupying such a large Huiguo Mountain, while we, the large orcs, occupy the neighboring island. It is unreasonable, it's so unfair. Now, I think the territory needs to be redivided, and I advise you to get out of Huiguo Mountain within 3 days, otherwise don't blame me for not caring about my neighbors." This purple-gold violent bear was obviously the boss of the group of large beasts. After his words, the group of large beasts howled with excitement. On the side, Ye Chen and others, who were hiding behind a group of furry monkeys, were startled at the same time. "That purple-gold bear can talk, a divine beast," Sun Yang whispered. Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but nodded slightly. They think it's normal that monkeys can talk, because these monkeys are not ordinary monkeys, but monster monkeys. That is the so-called humanoid monster. And that purple gold violent bear is just an ordinary monster no matter how you look at it. Since it can talk, it is most likely a divine beast. Purple gold violent bear, you really don't learn your lesson. You were beaten to a pulp by my king and suppressed for hundreds of years. Now that you have just been unsealed, you are making trouble again. Aren't you afraid that my king will come out and kill you? The white ape roared. Huiguo Mountain, monkey, king, tisk tisk tisk, there must be monkey brother, so awesome, I really want to know what level monkey brother is. Ye Chen and others were shocked again when they heard the words, and they were sure of the existence of Sun Wukong in their hearts. Huh! Hearing the words, the purple gold violent bear trembled slightly, and a look of fear flashed across his face. But after a moment, he regained his composure. Humph, don't try to deceive me, that stinky monkey should not be here, we have been making trouble for more than 1 or 2 days, if he was here, he would have come out to deal with us long ago. After speaking, the purple gold violent bear carefully observed the changes in the expressions of the monkeys, and indeed saw a trace of panic and frustration on the faces of most of the monkeys. Suddenly, he was more confident. He was sure that the Monkey King was not here. What should we do? These monkeys seem to be no match for us. I just observed that even the white ape is only a super saint. Since the other party has a divine beast, they must be defeated, Jian Wuhan said, and almost at the same time, everyone's eyes were focused on Ye Chen. Ye Chen has long been their core existence. They are willing to listen to Ye Chen on some decisive issues. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 610. We will definitely help Monkey King, right? Tank couldn't help but say. Well, Monkey King's heroic image of hating evil is deeply rooted in people's hearts. Even in the game, he is mostly a righteous character. It's right for us to lean on him. Ye Chen smiled and instantly determined his position. Shadow assassination technique. A huge dark river surged around Ye Chen, and the next moment, his body sank into the shadow cast by the dark river and stepped on the water to move forward. Not long after, the dark river crossed a group of monkeys and came in front of the purple gold violent bear, and the next moment it covered the purple gold violent bear. What? Dark clouds? No, this is too dark, and too low. The purple gold violent bear looked at the dark river in doubt, and the next moment, a huge wall of flames appeared out of thin air, covering all the beasts including the purple gold violent bear. The burning of the sea of fire and the burning effect of the burning heart ring caused the purple gold violent bear and other beasts to suffer 2 layers of damage every second, and they screamed in pain and roared continuously. Entering the attacking state, Ye Chen's figure appeared on the dark river. Human? Why are there humans in Huiguo Mountain? The purple gold violent bear was a little puzzled, but he was ruthless. He suddenly lifted his thick bear paw, breaking the air, bringing a rolling wave of air, and slammed towards Ye Chen. However, Ye Chen could teleport freely in the entire dark river, and immediately flashed, causing the purple gold violent bear to miss. And the coordinates of Ye Chen's teleportation were just in front of the huge purple gold violent bear. The dragon kiss aroused a dazzling red light. Ye Chen ruthlessly cut the throat of the purple gold violent bear, and blood spurted out like a fountain. -1004, 482, 0492. As the huge bright red damage emerged, the purple gold violent bear was attacked fiercely, staggering, and was actually shaken back a yard, bursting on the ground, stirring up smoke and dust. This scene directly shocked both sides. The hairy monkeys and large beasts were all stunned and sweating. Humans, there are humans who have sneaked into Huiguo Mountain. The white monkey looked around. In addition to Ye Chen, he also found Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others, and a trace of shock flashed in his eyes. But there was not much hostility in his eyes when he looked at Ye Chen and others, and the red name on his head turned green at the same time, which was a transformation from malice to friendliness. Not only the white monkey, but all the hairy monkeys present, the color of their names on their heads turned green at the same time. Obviously, Ye Chen and others did not deal with them, but helped them deal with the purple gold violent bear and other beasts, which made them feel a little good. Humble and insignificant human, look at me slapping you to death like a fly. The purple gold violent bear was repelled by Ye Chen for a yard, and the dignity of the divine beast seemed to be greatly insulted. The body swelled in an instant and returned to its original size. It turned out to be a violent bear that was 100 meters tall, burly, and like an iron tower. He snorted angrily, and 2 white air currents gushed out of his nose like sharp swords, showing his strong physique and full and round breath. Suddenly, he slapped down with a palm, and the giant bear paw with a length of 20 meters broke the sky, and the 5 fingers stirred up rolling air waves, with a violent momentum to crush the earth, and came to suppress Ye Chen. However, although his bear paw was huge, more than 20 meters long, it was far less huge than the dark river with a length of 66 meters. Ye Chen dodged again and teleported to the back of the purple gold violent bear. He used the previous absolute kill armor breaking skill again, and the sharp dragon kiss broke the steel-like back of the purple gold violent bear, shooting a red laser through the body of the purple gold violent bear, and continued to extend outward for hundreds of meters. Looking at the red laser that was enough to penetrate the purple gold violent bear, the white ape and a group of super saint monkeys were shocked and quickly dispersed. Looking at the purple gold violent bear again, he saw a hole in its chest, oozing blood. On the one hand, he was amazed at Ye Chen's strength, and on the other hand, he couldn't help but applaud. You know, when the Dragon Kiss attacks a new target, it has a 100% chance of breaking armor. Note, you have to use the Dragon Kiss to attack. The Dragon Kiss is a divine dagger, extremely sharp, and can easily break steel. Because of this, it can cause extreme armor breaking. Although Ye Chen's previous Sea of Fire was an attack method, it did not cause a substantial blow with the Dragon Kiss, so it could not break armor. That ultimate kill cut the purple gold violent bear's throat to complete the armor breaking. When attacking, it did not break armor, and even a strong ultimate kill only dealt 10 billion damage. After completing the armor breaking, a piercing through the heart dealt real damage, directly breaking 100 billion. It's a pity that although 100 billion is huge, the purple gold violent bear is a lower level divine beast, with thick skin and flesh, and 60 trillion lives? A mere 100 billion is nothing to him. Destruction Storm. Ye Chen stood in the air behind the purple gold violent bear, turned into a battle gyroscope, and began to spin wildly. The powerful adsorption force and the stiffening effect of the violent force made the purple gold violent bear unable to move, and directly endured the crazy shooting of countless flame darts, and its HP plummeted. At the same time, the flame darts in the sky also shot wildly at a group of large beasts. For Ye Chen, these were all new targets. The first round of armor breaking, and the countless flame darts behind it dealt real damage. Zao billions and billions of terrifying damage flashed all over the screen, and the beasts fell in groups. It's my turn, Jian Wuhan roared, stomped his feet on the ground, rushed out like an arrow from a string, and approached the purple gold violent bear, causing the latter to roar continuously. However, the purple gold violent bear was still in the state of adsorption and stiffness. Although it was angry at Jian Wuhan, it could not move. All things withered. Jian Wuhan swept a circle, and as the crisp sword chant sounded, the withered yellow light wave also enveloped the purple gold violent bear. The latter suddenly aged at a speed visible to the naked eye. His figure plummeted, and his tough fur was full of wrinkles, and the color also dimmed. He seemed to be brought into the next reincarnation by the law of the supreme world, and all his attributes plummeted by 10 times. With a life of up to 60 trillion, only 6 trillion remained, and other attack power, defense power, and even speed, resistance, etc., all plummeted by 10 times. Next, not only Ye Chen, but also Sun Yang, Jian Wuhan, and others, including all the monkeys, attacked the purple-gold violent bear frantically. The violent fire skills made the purple-gold violent bear scream, and its figure retreated violently, and its HP decreased again and again. It's a pity that the old effect of all things withered only lasts for 3 seconds. Even though there is almost no defense, with only 6 trillion vitality, it is not something that Yechen and others can kill in 3 seconds. After all, Xiaojin and the powerful helpers of the Abyss Demon were not around. 3 seconds later, the purple gold violent bear recovered as before, with only 3 megabytes of health left, and then recovered to 30 megabytes again. After the withering and decaying of all things, the target's HP was restored as a percentage. Half of the 6 megabytes were knocked down, leaving only 3 megabytes. After the withering and decaying of all things, the purple gold violent bear also had only half of its health left, which was 30 megabytes.